Hello, everybody. This is Naina. Hope I am audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So thank you for joining. This is Naina Garg from the Globalizers, and we shall start in 2 minutes. Let's wait for everybody to join, and then we start.
Naina,
Yes.
this is Sheena Kumar here.
Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can I have access so that I can share the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just a minute. Mr. Malvia, please, ma'am ko aap host. If you can make ma'am co-host.
Hi, LK. I can see you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, okay, great.
Hi, Naina. How are you doing?
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fine. How are you?
Fine. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we shall start in 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. No hassle. I just need to share the screen so that
So, ma'am, hope you have got the access.
I'll just check.
Yeah.
So can you see the screen now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So LK, are you feeling sleepy?
No.
So we had such a long day today.
Long,
Yeah,
no.
real long day.
Anything?
So we had a fair today, Naina.
Okay.
So yeah, so we were in some sessions and then a fair for 5 hours and then this. So
Oh
it's
my
a long
God.
day.
Oh, we could have postponed it. You should.
No. We are feeling good. Can you see how handsome he is looking?
Yeah. But unfortunately, I cannot see you.
You can actually. I'll just switch on the cam. No hassle. Start video.
Yes, finally. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
We have shared your pictures so many times. We were really eager to see you in person.
I'm not in my best getup today, but then it's okay.
No. It's still pretty. It's still pretty.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll introduce everybody. So hi, I am Naina from the Globalizers. We are a foreign education institute. And today we have Sheena ma'am from ETS GRE. She's the brand ambassador. And we have Lakshmikant as well. So a brief about Globalizers. So we are a 14-year-old company. We send students across the globe. We have got some good GRE result and good admits. And without further delay, let's start the session. Over to you, Sheena ma'am.
Thank you, Naina. Thanks a lot and a warm welcome to all of you. I hope you're having a good evening. And we are here to talk about the GRE General Test. I'm a master trainer for TOEFL and I'm a trainer who has been trained to conduct these workshops. I hope I can make a difference here too, and I'll ensure that all the information that I have regarding GRE, I share it with you. If you have any questions, we can always deal with them at the end of the session. So because we do not want the flow of the session to be restricted, so we will deal with all your queries at the end, and I will try and make sure I have answers for you. All right, so let's start. So okay, so what all will be covered in this session? First of all, we will take an overview of the GRE General Test. There'll be registration tips, then what to expect on the test day at the test center or at the home test version. I'm sure you're familiar with the home test version. If you aren't, I'll be making sure that you know about it. Then some tips and strategies to ace GRE scores, right? Getting and sending those scores, then tools to help you prepare, some additional GRE program offerings to help you stand out, and then the GRE resources, right? So another thing I want you to understand very clearly, that you will definitely be getting this PPT. So if you feel that you need these links, oh, I needed that link. Oh my God, I didn't take a screenshot there. Don't worry. You'll have the PPT with you. We'll share it with the Naina or the people at Globalizers, and they can share it with you. So we have no hassle with that, right? So what is important is that you understand what I'm trying to tell you. So a little overview. So we have to understand that GRE is graduate record examination, right? Which is considered for graduate business and law schools all. So we have to understand why GRE has an edge. So GRE is not just focusing on any one facet of um, postgraduate studies. It is used for lot many purposes like master's program, specialized masters in business programs, certificate in law programs, MBA programs, JD programs, doctoral programs, and awarding fellowships also. And we must understand that the scores are good for 5 years. So we can well imagine the kind of authenticity this product holds, how potent it is. It's been there in the market. It doesn't need an introduction as such, but then there are a certain rumors regarding, whether it is useful for business studies or not. As you can see, it is. And how? Let me tell you. So over 1,300 business schools across the globe accept GRE scores for their MBA programs. Now, this is something which needs to be understood with clarity. Why? Because if you go to the Harvard Business School's website, you would notice they have very clearly stated there is no minimum GMAT or GRE score to apply, and we do not have a bias towards one test or the other. So you can well imagine how much acceptance it has, how much of trust it has built over the years in the top business schools worldwide, right? So these are certain facts which I need to share with you. These are not claims, these are facts. More than 60 law schools are now accepting or are considering accepting GRE general scores, test scores. ETS is on a constant lookout that they reach out to these law schools, they reach out to these institutions to make sure that applicant time and money is not wasted and is saved, from taking too many tests. You have to take this test and that test. You take one test and you get access to a lot many things, So that is the whole purpose why GRE scores are promoted in such a fashion, right? So law schools at the University of Arizona, Harvard University, Northwestern University, Georgetown University are many among the first to begin accepting GRE scores for admission purposes, right? So this clarity also was needed. Now, what you can do is you can view the most up-to-date list of law schools accepting GRE general test scores on the GRE website. You simply need to go to the GRE website. It's always good to go to the particular website. Check out things in person. Go and check, whether these are claims or these are facts, to get complete insight into what we are talking about. You should always go and check out the website, right? Okay, so the GRE general test, we are going to discuss the test structure in length, right? So first of all, we have the analytical writing, where there is one section with 2 tasks in total. Each task is allotted 30 minutes of time, right? Then we have verbal reasoning, where you have 2 sections, where you have 20 questions per section, right? And the time allotted to each section is 30 minutes. Then we have quantitative reasoning, where there again we have 2 sections with 20 questions per section, and the time allotted for each section is 35 minutes, right? So another thing which one needs to understand is there is either an unscored or a research section that does not count towards one's scores, right? So if one gets so these two need to be understood with clarity and with the distinction that they hold, right? So if you get an unscored section, one will not know which one it is, right? So one will have to put their best foot forward in all the sections. They will have to make sure that they treat each section with equal amount of seriousness, because it is not stated which is going to be that unscored section, right? But if one gets the research section, it will always be the last one, and it will be clearly marked there that this is the research section, right? So the approximately total testing time would be 3 hours and 40 minutes plus time breaks, right? So now we are going to take a closer look at the analytical writing section. I would hope to make sure that you understand what is there in analytical writing section. So what does it assess? It assesses critical thinking and analytical writing skills. So when we say critical thinking, it means how well can one analyze an issue? How well can one understand how things are presented to one? What are the directions which are given to you? And whether you are going to follow that direction, those directions or not, whether you have the ability to process information in your brain and present it in a very logical manner. right? So whether you have that critical ability to understand things, comprehend things, and then present them, that is going to be assessed. Analytical writing skills, meaning how well can you analyze a given situation? How well can you analyze what is being presented, right? How well you will be able to understand, comprehend, and then again present and analyze by analyzing that particular argument. So first of all, you have the analyze an issue task, where which requires you to analyze an issue and develop an argument with reasons or examples to support your position. So there is an issue which is given to the student. Now, the student needs to develop that issue with proper exemplification, with proper substantiation, with reasons, examples which are logical, which follow a progression of ideas, and which support whichever position one has taken. If one is standing by that issue, one has to bring in all those elements. If one is standing against the issue, one has to bring in all those elements. So one has to be very clear with what one is wanting to do with that issue, and then one has to support one's position with proper exemplification, substantiation, proper argument, and develop the essay, right? Then we have analyze an argument. So one is required to assess the logical soundness of a given argument according to the specific task directions. This needs to be understood with clarity. When I say specific task directions, it means one is not supposed to go beyond that. One is not going to not attempt those tasks or not address those tasks. So one needs to strike a balance, understand how to analyze that argument, and then whatever the directions are there, whatever the specifications are there, one has to respond accordingly. One has to go by the task according to that, and not bring in extra element of information, extra element of whatever if one has. No, one has to stick to the specific task directions. Now these essays are responded by typing, right? So the basic functions would include insert text, delete text, cut and paste, and undo the previous action. Please know that these essays are going to be comprehensive, they're going to be impressive, they're going to be substantial, and they're going to create an impact. If I am convinced with something, I will be able to convince the other person. So one has to have that authority while writing, that whatever you are writing, you are convinced with it, right? And especially when you are analyzing an issue or you are analyzing an argument, a lot of processing needs to happen in the brain itself. So all that needs to be taken care of. I'm sure you've written essays all your lives. I remember I started writing essay when I was in third standard. I was writing such small teeny mini essays, and then I progressed towards writing better essays and then professional essays also. So it's important that you understand how they are. They are like essays. They have a start, they have an introduction, they have the main body with 3 to 4 paragraphs, and then you have the conclusion, which is the culmination. Now how do you bind all of it? How is the progression of your ideas? All that will count in the analytical writing section, right? Then we have the verbal reasoning section. So the verbal reasoning section assesses one's ability to understand what one has read and how one applies one's reasoning skills. Now here again, I want you to understand how important it is to comprehend what one has read, how important it is to gather the main idea, gather what is being spoken about, what is being stated, right? What are the clues which are given? What are the details which are given? What are the focus points that are there in that particular reading material? So all that will be assessed. How one assesses one's ability to understand what one has read and how one is applying one's reasoning skills to respond to these MCQs, right? So question types would include reading comprehension, where there will be multiple choice questions. One has to select one answer choice. There'll be multiple choice questions where one has to select one or more answer choices. One will have to select within the passage itself, select in passage. There'll be text completion, and there will be sentence equivalence. When I'm talking about sentence equivalence and factors like this, you please have to also understand how the sub skills are important, even if they are not tested on GRE or any other such test. One has to know how to paraphrase, how to rephrase. All these things also need to be understood, and one has to have a good command over the sub skills also. That's what I feel, right? And then the quantitative reasoning section. So here, one is what is being assessed? One's ability to interpret and analyze quantitative information and solve problems using mathematical models. As simple as that. Throughout this particular these sections, both of these, the on-screen calculator will be available, which will be operated through the keyboard, obviously, and it will be there all throughout the quantitative reasoning sections, right? So question types would include quantitative comparison, multiple choice, select one answer choice, multiple choice, select one or more, then numeric entry. The focus will be on basic mathematical skills and elementary mathematical concepts. Now, one has to have a strong hold over them, like arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and data analysis, right? I think they're pretty simple when it comes to the mathematical concepts, and one has to have a good command over them so as to crack all of these, right? Okay, so a closer look at the test taker friendly design. When we say, it means how much of freedom the student has to actually customize how he or she wants to go through the test. So for instance, one can skip questions, one can go back to the questions, one can change answers, one can move freely within a section, that is within a time section. That is something which you need to understand. The clock is ticking, tick tock constantly, because it's a computer based test, but one can move freely within a given section, with a time section, right? And one can skip questions, one can go back and change answers. And frankly, it has been proven that when one goes back and changes answers, one actually scores better, the scores improve. So one can consider that, one can always review what one has done. But then to stay too long on the review screen is not also visible. Yes, it's important to go and check the review screen to make sure that one has answered all the questions, right? Then I told you the on-screen calculator will be constantly there throughout the quantitative reasoning sections, right? So now a little more about the verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning sections. So what do we understand by section level adaptive? Now this concept needs to be understood with clarity, with a lot of clarity, because the computer selects the second section of a measure based on one's performance on the first section. Now, what does it mean? So if there is, the first section is there, and there is a certain difficulty level of the questions, and if the student or the test taker has done it, has cracked that first section with a very high level of confidence, he or she will get a little more difficult questions in the second section. But when they are getting more difficult questions in second section, their scores are also bound to improve because of the quality of the questions, right? The difficulty level of the questions. While if in the first section, if the student is finding it a little difficult and is not performing that well in the first section, the second section is going to be easier, but it will reflect on the scores for sure, because the level of difficulty of the questions is going to reflect clearly on the final score, right? So within each section, one has to understand all questions contribute equally to the final score. So you should not be wasting a lot of time on one question and then not having enough time for the other, right? When I say that, I also want to tell you that in the MCQs, it's very important to go through all the options given, all the choices given, because if you jump on the first choice and not bother to go for the rest of the choices that are given, only because you feel the first choice looks very apt, you may have something more exact or something more relevant down the line. So it's important to go through all of the options that are given and then select the answer, but not to waste a lot of time on one question. Also, one has to manage time that way, right? So there is another myth that needs to be broken here, that there is no negative scoring, there is no negative marking in GRE. So you always need to attempt each question, or even if you need to make a wild guess, do it. If you need to go by your gut feeling, do it. But never leave a question unanswered, because points are never deducted for wrong answers, right? So this needs to be understood with clarity, right? Okay, so we have test centers across the globe, in India also, right? And one can go and check the seat availability according to their location by going to this link, which is www.ets.org/GRE/test centers. Please understand that you will have this PPT, so you will have this link also with it, right? I'm sure Joseph will be more than happy to share this PPT with you. So now I'm going to talk about the GRE general test from the safety of one's home. Now, it's the same test. It's identical in content, identical in format. The on-screen experience is just the same. Why? Because one is either sitting on one's PC or on one's laptop to deliver the test. One also needs to understand that you will not be allowed to give the test through your through a tablet or a mobile device. So you will have to have a PC or a laptop to do so. Right. So it's the same experience, on-screen experience, and one needn't change the pattern of their preparation or studying. Why? Because one has to prepare the same way. It's the same test. It's just that the way it is delivered has changed, but the way it is administered has changed. First, one was going to the test center and doing it, but now one can sit at home and do it also. This is an option which one can take. So the test fee is same, the payment options are same. If there are any offers, they're also same. If there are any offers, I do not know about the offers right now. I don't think we have any offers for GRE right now. So same score scale, same score report, same reporting score or reporting options are there. Everything is just the same, right? So it has accessible with extended time breaks, extra breaks, screen magnification. This is for people who are looking for accommodations. Well, all that is also there. You have extra breaks, you have screen magnification, selectable colors for people who have special needs, right, or people with disabilities. So all these accommodations are also available at the at-home edition, right, version. Now it is monitored and recorded online through the use of live human proctors and artificial intelligence technology through ProctorU. Now, what is this live human proctor? So this is a person, this is an invigilator who will be sitting on the other side of the screen all throughout the administration of the GRE general test. This person will be ensuring that there is no malfunction happening at the time of the test. This person is ensuring that if the test taker needs any kind of assistance because of any kind of problem, if there is any, this particular person will ensure that they sort it out for the test taker. At the same time, he or she will also be checking that one is not trying to open another browser, is not trying to indulge in any kind of malpractice. So all that will be taken care of. Also, that is why this whole session the whole test administration is monitored and recorded online, right? Then artificial technology will be taking care of features like gaze. So how, if I'm looking at one direction too much and not looking at the screen, then there is something wrong, right? So one has to stay focused on the screen, and that is there in the to-do list, to do and to don't do list available on ProctorU and also available on ETS's GRE website, right? And artificial intelligence will be also checking on features like whether it is the same person giving the test as on the passport, right? The face needs to match. The name needs to match. The name has to be identical as in the registration as on the passport. They need to be identical, right? So all these things will be taken care of by artificial intelligence technology, right? Now, some quick system requirements I will share with you. So computer requirements are, like I told you, a desktop or laptop, not a tablet or a mobile device. Windows OS versions 10, 8 or 7. Then you have either or you can have Mac OS versions 10.5 or higher, 10.13 higher Sierra recommended. You can have a Chrome or Firefox browser, which you can open either of the two, just one window, right? Then microphone and speakers requirements are internal or external microphone. Both will do. If you have internal, it's okay. If you have external, now this microphone is for to communicate, with the proctor. Right? For internal, you can have internal or external speaker. Both will be required for communicating with the proctor. Now, you cannot use a headset or earphones. Frankly, you cannot keep your ears covered also. You have to keep them like I've kept mine, right? You cannot wear any extra jewelry. You cannot have any other gadgets, electronic gadgets, you have to be very careful. It should be a standard table with a standard chair. You should be sitting upright. You cannot be sitting on a bean bag or a couch. You have to make sure that you are fitting in those prerequisites, and you have to make sure that you are following them. You will need to perform a system check, in any case, on your computer scheduling your test. So that will be taken care of. The system check will be done. So you have to take care of these things. Then camera requirement, you have to have either an inbuilt camera or a separate webcam. Both will do, as long as that camera can show a 360-degree view of the room that you are sitting in. If the camera can show a 360-degree view of the room, it will be perfectly fine. The camera needs to show the tabletop surface also. They want to make sure that you have no other electronic device there. They have to ascertain that, right? Then the registration tips. Now these are again very important. So it's very, very easy. Simply go to www.ets.org/mygre and create an account. Once you've created an account, it will be very easy to go and register for the test, because it is very smooth, very doable, easy. It takes 10 minutes, right? So it's very important that one understands that one has to register within time. When I say within time, your preparation requires time, right? You need to meet urgent deadlines of the universities. They have their own criteria, their eligibility criteria that you need to meet. So all those things need to be planned. You have to have a plan where you have your preparation time, and then you are giving your test as per your preferred testing location, date and time. For all that, you will have to have enough time at hand. And that is why I always say that one has to keep a lot of time in hand to ensure that one has prepared well, one has gotten their preferred testing location or date and time. Because if you are trying to register at the nick of the time, you may not get the testing location that you desire, the date and time that you desire. Those seats might be full already. So this needs to be understood also, right? Of course, ETS account would require to view one's official scores, one's purchases, everything that one is doing in the ETS, their ETS account, everything will be viewable, right? So it's important to sign up for GRE search service. So this will help. It's free of cost, first of all, and it will help schools to find you. You can feed your scores are already there. The schools will be able to find you if you sign up for the GRE search service. Also, it is very important to go through the GRE information bulletin for ID requirements, policies, etc. Although I have told you very clearly, categorically, that the only identification requirement in India is the passport. Valid passport. Now you cannot say, there are students who come to me and say, oh, but my passport has expired. I've given it for renewal and it will take a month to come. So tomorrow is my test. Can I give my test with my expired passport? How can you do that? You need a valid passport. You cannot give the test with an Aadhaar card or a PAN card or a library card or whatever card. You need a passport. That is the only identification requirement. It is stated very clearly on ETS GRE website that in India, the only identification requirement is the passport. So one has to adhere to it. Make sure that you follow that. It's important to go and read the GRE information bulletin to get all the details. What are the policies? What are the requirements? What you need to go when you go to the test center. So all those details will be there in the GRE information bulletin, right? And if one needs those accommodations that I was talking about for people with special needs, for students with special needs, well, they can request them in one's ETS account, and the accommodations must be approved prior to the test registration. Do not register for the test if you have sent a letter requesting accommodations to ETS. Let the approval come and then go ahead with the registration, right? Okay, wait. So like I told you, what is the most important document? Your passport. The name that you have on your passport should be matching the name on the registration. So let's say your name is Kanti Lal Mehra. Nobody would have that kind of a name. All these young people these days know. But then I'm just saying, Kanti Lal Mehra. So do not write in ETS GRE when you are registering for the test. Do not write KL Mehra. That will not do. Write Kanti as it is in the passport, Lal as it is in the passport as the middle name, and then the surname Mehra. So it should be exactly matching the ID document, which is your passport. The spellings need to match. The entire first name should be given. One cannot be using any nicknames or first initials. The entire name needs to be written as it is in the passport. I'm repeating it again and again because there are students who commit this mistake, right? So this is how the actual My GRE home page looks like. You can go there and click on register, find test center location, and you will get there, right? Okay. So for at-home test, what is one supposed to do? Log in and select register. On the find test center and dates page, select test at home. That is what one needs to select if one is going for that option. Then verify your email address and continue. Next is the time zone. Then choose a test date and time. One has to confirm the appointment details and continue with the registration and pay for the test. Right? And one has to keep that email very safe that one will receive because it will contain the link to start the test on the test day. It's important to take care of that email, right? So I've already told you that your identification, you have to carry your passport, then you have to have a photograph, you have to have your signature with your name, because all these will be required. These are all in the bulletin. You can click on this link when you have this, you will be able to understand what all is required, right? Okay. So during the test, please remember that one is using the standard English language computer keyboard, which is QWERTY, right? And one has to be good with it. One has to have a good practice with it, right? And if during the time one has any problem, one can, raise one's hand and talk about it if one is wanting to discuss anything or is having some problem. Testing premises also can have video recording, so one should be prepared with that. So there is an optional 10-minute break after the third section. I'm sure you know about it. If you do not know, I want to tell you that there is an optional 10-minute break after the third section and 1-minute breaks between the remaining sections of the test. So one has the option to take those 1-minute breaks if one is wanting to take it. But these break times cannot be exceeded. Please remember, if you are losing out on time by taking too many breaks or long breaks, you will end up losing out time on your test, right? You are required to remain in the test center building or in the immediate area, even if you have taken that break, and you're not permitted to go outside of the test center. That's perfectly understandable, unless it is the use of the restroom during the test administration, including breaks, right? So one will be going to the restroom and the breaks preferably, right? If you need to leave your seat at any time other than the break, raise your hand. Timing of the section will not stop. So let's say a certain section is on play, it's going on, and you raise your hand, you want to go out or you want to go to the restroom. So that time loss is your own. The clock is not going to stop. Only the time breaks one will have for a minute or for that 10 minutes, right? Okay. So another thing that I want you to understand for the at-home version, that one will be taking notes. Obviously, one will be required to take down notes, and for that, they will require a small whiteboard with an erasable marker or one blank piece of paper inside a transparent sheet protector with an erasable marker. Now, when the test ends, at that point of time, the proctor will ensure that you erase all the notes that you had taken in his or her view in front of them. So that also needs to be done. And one has to be very sure that these are the only permissible, these are the only methods of taking note which are allowed, these two, and one has to make sure that they have either of the two. So a mirror or a mobile phone will be required to show the proctor your screen during the check-in. So that's okay, because mobile phone is in any case allowed, which can be kept a little away, because let's say you have your Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi connectivity is hampered because of any reason at all. You can use your hotspot from your phone at that point of time. So mobile is allowed to be kept a little far, right? Please know that even at home, you have to have your passport, because if you do not have your passport at home and you are showing either a soft copy or a scanned version or maybe a pic of the passport, that will not do. You will have to have your valid passport with right? Okay. So all this I've shared, I've all this told you. Now some tips and strategies quickly, right? So other graduate level admission tests require you to answer each question in order and do not allow you to see what is ahead or permitted to go back. This is exactly which you need to understand how you can actually customize and approach the test as per your wish. So within each time section, what all can you do? You can change your answers, you can mark questions, you can skip questions and return to them, you can navigate to and fro freely, right? So that is why it is called test taker friendly design. Why? One can approach the test the way one wants it, one can actually customize it as per one's ability to do it. One can change answers, go forward, go backward, and deal, but that is within each time section, not beyond that, right? This needs to be understood. So it's very important that you become familiar with the question formats and directions beforehand. And that can be done by taking a lot of free sample tests that are available on GRE's website. You can practice with a lot of free material that is there on GRE's website. There is a lot of paid material also. You can practice with that so that you become familiar with the kind of questions that are going to be asked, the kind of directions that are given for different tasks, and how you will handle it. Of course, time management is very important. You have to be very aware of the time, because if you are spending too much of time on one question, you may not have enough for the other. So it's very important to manage that. So it's very important to, like I told you already, there is no credit for partially correct answers. So it's important to read all the answer choices and then choose what one wants to give as an answer. So all this I have already shared with you. Let's not waste much time on it. Go forward. Like I told you, do not waste too much of time on questions you're finding difficult or you're faltering to on. Simply move ahead, answer others, and come back to it if time permits, right? And do not spend too much of time on the review screen, but check the review screen before finishing a section, because you have to ensure that you've answered all the questions asked. You are not supposed to leave any question unanswered, because there is no negative marking, right? It's important for the analytical writing section. You have to review the scoring guides. The scoring guides are available on ETS's website. You have to go and review and see for each task how those essays are evaluated, how those essays are scored, what are the elements that the reader or the rater is looking for in the essay. So all that, for that understanding, you have to be on the other side also to understand what they are expecting of you. So it's very important to review the scoring guides, to understand what all elements are required in that essay, right? And one has to practice under writing under timed conditions, because you have to have a certain, even though ETS never says word limit, but then you have to follow a certain word length. You want to complete whatever you are wanting to say. There is no word limit as such instructed by ETS, but then you have to stay within time, right? And that is why one has to practice and practice a lot more under timed conditions, right? So that you can have a stopwatch with you and time yourself. Say you only have, let's say I would say, Sheena, you have just 20 minutes to write this essay. Now start writing. If you do not finish within that time, that means something is wrong somewhere. Some thought process is missing, some natural flow of ideas is missing, some natural thought progression is missing. So you have to work on that, right? Pay close attention to the specific task directions. It is very important. And make sure that your essays are responding or addressing those specific instructions only. Do not try and bring in too much of information. One has to organize one's thoughts and prepare an outline before one starts writing the essay, right? When one is supporting, like I told you, the issue task, one has to, whatever examples one is quoting, whatever examples or whatever reasons one is giving, it should be from one's experience, one's life, whatever one has observed or in their life or in the academic studies, because they will sound authentic. They would sound real. It's very important that one should be very, very convinced with what one is writing. Like I told you, you will be only able to convince me if you are convinced yourself. That works for me also, right? So it's very important to leave a few minutes at the end of each task to read what one has written and make any revisions that one is wanting to make, to rule out any errors, because one is, in analytical writing, one is looking for comprehensive essays, right? It's very important to avoid excessive humor or irony. Now, why do I say that? Because you are writing the essay response, you're not speaking it. So when we are speaking, you would notice during the session also, there are times I'm smiling, there are times I'm asserting on a certain thing. My voice is doing that job. But when we are writing, nobody will be able to interpret what one is trying to say. And at times, excessive humor or irony may reflect poorly on those scores, may be misinterpreted by the readers. So it's important to avoid excessive irony or humor in the essays, right? Now for verbal reasoning, some tips and strategies. So one has to read passages to get an overall sense of them, right? Before answering questions that pertain to them. It's very important to rely only on the information that is there in the passage. One is not required to bring any outside knowledge with any additional information, not required. Because if there is a question that is being asked, the answer lies within that passage itself and nowhere outside. Right? So after choosing answer choices for a question that contains blank, reread the whole passage to make sure it makes sense. It's important. It should have the right connectivity. It should have the right grammatical pattern. You should be rereading it to make sure that the whole passage is making sense. Right? Try to fill in the blanks with your own words and find answer choices that match. Like I told you, I very clearly told you, it's very important to rephrase, paraphrase. One has to hone these sub skills also to ensure that one is not indulging in plagiarism, right? Identify words or phrases that seem particularly significant when one is reading the passage. It's very important to skim and scan. It's very important to take down notes of important information that looks relevant, so that it comes handy when one is handling the questions, right? Okay, so GRE reading comprehension questions assess a test taker's ability to identify a passage purpose and main idea. I told you about this. Recognize specific points made in a passage. Told you about this. Recognize assumptions underlying a passage's argument. Now, there are times when the author or the writer will try and introduce certain pieces of information that may not look relevant or may not seem connected to the main idea, but they will be, because there will be an underlying passage argument. There will be something underlying beneath whatever information the writer has shared. So one will have to draw inferences and conclusions based on the suggestions or the pieces of information that are given in the passage, right? So evaluate a passage's logic and rhetoric. When we say rhetoric, it means understand why the author has introduced a certain piece of information, because there are times when the author will try and introduce certain pieces of information only to convince the reader, to make sure that the reader agrees with it. So one has to go by the way things are introduced, the information is introduced, right? And that is where one's intelligence comes to the fore, right? So in order to support questions that assess these skills, the GRE reading comprehension passage has to be logically and rhetorically complex. So it cannot be merely a collection of facts or assertions. It will not be something very simple. It will be something complex, something which will make you think, will make you question, will make you infer and conclude based on your understanding of whatever you are. So your comprehensibility, your ability to comprehend has to be very strong, right? Okay. So look for materials that present an argument supported by reasoning and or evidence. Such materials can be found in a variety of places. So you cannot be looking for very easy passages somewhere. No, look for specialized academic journals. Feature articles in newspapers and periodicals such as the New York Times, the Economist, the Statesman, the Hindu. You will find a lot of articles in the newspapers and periodicals. In the Sun Times, Times of India, go to the 3rd page, go to the 7th page, you will find these articles there, I'm sure. Scientific American or London Review of Books, these are for whatever the journals are available or newspapers or periodicals are available, one should be reading those feature articles, right? Trade books by experts and journalists for general audiences. So these are certain examples that you need to be reading these kind of material. Textbooks and popular periodicals generally do not demonstrate the kind of complexity that is found in GRE reading passages. So you cannot be depending on textbooks and popular periodicals. You cannot be, right? It has to be something more complex. For quantitative reasoning, so geometric figures may not be drawn to scale, so avoid estimating sizes by sight or by measurement on such figures. So this needs to be understood. If applicable, one can draw one's own diagrams or figure, or make a list to help sort out what the question is asking. One can do that. You have your note-taking provision there, and you can do that. When appropriate, one should avoid lengthy calculations, because when you are spending too much of time on a lengthy calculation, you are losing on time for other questions. So it's important. So one has to have a certain level of plan, a certain level of plan B. So one can always switch to a different strategy if one strategy is not working. If one is stuck at one point, one cannot spend inordinate amount of time on one question. One should always have a plan B, evaluate one's progress, switch to a different strategy, and try and not waste time, right? It's very important that when one has arrived at an answer, one has to reread the question to make sure the answer is matching with the requirement of the question, right? That is something which one has to evaluate. Now, review additional problem solving strategies available at this particular link. This link will be with you soon. Okay, so scores are reported on the following scales. For analytical writing, 0 to 6 in half-point increments, verbal reasoning 130 to 170 in 1-point increments, and quantitative reasoning 130 to 170 in 1-point increments. So this is how the scoring will be done as per the difficulty level of the questions given to the student as per their performance. Right. So what can you do after you have completed the test? You can cancel your scores permanently, which is strongly not recommended. Then you can view your unofficial scores. So you can view your unofficial scores for verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning measures, because for analytical writing measures, one needs there's a process where the essay is scored. So that is done at ATS's level, right? So these two, of course, one can review one's scores. And why would one review one's unofficial scores? To make a decision whether they would be wanting to send these scores to the university or not, or whether they would be reappearing for GRE. For that decision, yes, of course, it's good to view the unofficial scores, right? So this is how they will appear. Actual page, right? So, like I told you, one will, after viewing one's unofficial verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning score, one will be asked to designate up to 4 score recipients. Now, these 4 score recipients will be receiving their official general test scores, your official general test scores, free of cost. 4 of them, right? But if it is not done, then, and you choose not to send your scores at that point of time, and later you want to, after the test day, there will be additional score reports for a fee. There will be a fee charged. These will be purchasable then. These score reports will be purchasable, will have to be bought. So on test day, one can view one's scores at the end of the test, and one gets 4 free of course score reports, most recent options, send scores from your most recent test, one can do that, or all options, send scores from all your tests in the last 5 years, you can do that. You will decide, the test taker will decide what scores are to be sent, right? And that is what we call score select option. Right. So after the test day, one will be able to view one's scores via one's ATS account, and one will be able to send additional score reports through most recent options, all options, or any options they want to send out of their last 5 years of performance. Please also know that these, after the test day, it will be a paid service, right? Okay. So this is how one will have to add a score recipient. 4 of them one can add, or one can skip this step. That's the test taker's choice and their decision, right? So you have this drop down list where you have the institutions and the country-specific institutions, and one can choose where one wants to send the score reports, right? Okay. So GRE official scores are reported about 10 to 15 days after the test day, right? I don't know whether you're familiar with it or not, but that's how it is. So one can view those, and the score reports include all scores in our reportable history past 5 years, because the test scores are valid for 5 years, right? One can print a personal copy of the score report, but when they are to be sent to the institutions, they need to be sent through GRE, right? And you can watch this. Click on the link and watch a short video on how to send additional score reports, right? Okay, so you always have the option to take the test again. So one person in a rolling year can take the test once every 21 days, and they can use up to 5 times this facility. So they can, in a rolling year of 12 months, they can sit for the test 5 times, GRE test for 5 times. I just saw that somebody raised a hand. Please wait, I'm about to finish the session, and then we can listen to your query. No hassle, right? Now, this is GRE, free of cost again, GRE diagnostic service. Now, what is GRE diagnostic service? So it provides a deep insight into one's performance on the test questions in the verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning sections, right? So the service will be describing the type of questions one answered right or wrong, the difficulty level of each question, and the time one spent on each question, because as per the difficulty level of the question, the scoring will be there, right? So one can access the service in one's ETS account approximately 15 days after taking the computer delivered test. Like I told you, the score report comes after 15 days, and this facility will be available for 6 months following one's test administration. One can go and view the diagnostics regarding their own performance, right? This is how it will look, right? This is how every detail will be shared with the test taker. Okay. So how does one prepare, right? So one can view section overview that includes general advice, sample questions with explanation, scoring guides, and tips for answering questions, types to become familiar with each of the test sections. So there will be an overview of the verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and analytical writing. One simply needs to go to www.ets.org/gre/prepare to find this service there, right? Then, of course, there is Power Test Preview tool, which this free tool can be found in the My Test Preparation and Services section. You have to go to this link to find it. It's free of cost, right? So it contains information to help familiarize test taker with the question types. One needs to know what type of question will feature in the test, right? And one will be able to do so by going to PowerPrep Test Preview tool. Then we have this free PowerPrep online, where one will be able to understand what's being tested. One will be able to get familiar with the question types. One will be able to understand how these testing tools work, including the on-screen calculator. One will actually become familiar with it by experiencing it firsthand, right? Understand the scoring methodology, how the scoring is done, right? How scored analytical writing responses are there, so one can review those and read the commentary that is given with the analytical writing responses. So one can actually sit and do all that with PowerPrep online. Then there is GRE Math Review and GRE Math Convention. Both are there on www.ets.org/gre/prepare, right? Then you have practice material in accessible forms. So what are these accessible forms? Braille, recorded audio, tactile figure supplement, large print, accessible electronic format. Why does one require it? Because there are people who require certain accommodations because of their special needs, right? So there can be extended time, extra breaks, screen magnification, selectable colors, screen reader, refreshable Braille compatibility. All of this will be available for students with special needs, right? These are these can be purchased. PowerPrep Plus online. This can be purchased from the ETS account, through the ETS account, from the ETS GRE website, right? These are again These can be purchased in one's ATS account. They are also available on Amazon. The official guide to GRE is very, very potent. A handbook. It's a handbook and it's very, very potent, and one can practice with it. You have separate for verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, right? You have these superpower packs, the value combos. You can go for them, check them out. You will have this PPT. You will be able to check them out. You have the online writing practice also, so you can purchase this particular facility also to practice, right? So this is something which is again very important. So helping to make your application even stronger, how there are these GRE subject tests for biology, chemistry, literature in English, mathematics, physics, and psychology. One will be able to demonstrate achievement in particular field of study, and these will be paper delivered tests which will be administered in September, October, and April. These will be specifically for these subjects, right? You can go and find out the details of the same with the link that is provided at the end, right? I told you about the search service. Definitely go for this because the schools will find you, or you can find the schools that you want to go to, and this will be free of cost. Absolutely. Right. I told you that it is very important to read the information bulletin. It's very important to go through it so that one knows. You also have the list of business schools that accept GRE scores. You have law schools that accept GRE scores for JD program. So you can go and check those lists there. They are there, right? Institutions and fellowship sponsors approved to receive GRE scores. So the lists are available on GRE's website. You can check those, and if they match your requirement, great, right? So we are there everywhere. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, right? We have GRE videos on YouTube, right? So you can go and check out. So one can, get the latest updates by writing to GRE services, greinfo@ats.org, right? So these are test services, right? So quickly take you. So these are the how the test is going to be, the actual sample questions. You can see these. You can work with them. You can get to see them. You can see how they operate. You will have this PPT with you, right? Go through them at leisure. When you have them, you see the calculator is there, right? So you can go through them at leisure. Now, this is the email ID that you need to get in touch with us, gre.info@learninglinksindia.org. We will be able to address all your queries and all your questions, and we would be more than happy to do so. These are the phone numbers. You can get in touch with us. And thanks a lot for your patience. And now I will take your questions. Please share your questions. Naina?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
For your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for your
time. Can we have few questions now? Can we take?
Yeah, sure, please.
Time permits?
Yeah.
Okay. So
even if the time doesn't permit, we should take few questions.
Okay. So we have. I wanted to know what should be the approach to tackle the RC in the test. Yeah. Question first to full passage. Acha. Yeah. So yeah, he wants to ask. I wanted to know what should be the approach to tackle the RC in the test.
So you simply need to, first of all, understand that you have limited amount of time. You have to go through the passage completely, right? So what you need to do is you need to have the acumen to understand skimming and scanning. So you read the first line of the paragraph in the passage, the last, the first, the last, the first, the last. You go through the passage like this first, by first reading the first and the last lines of the paragraphs, and then looking for keywords by going again to the passage. So this is the best way to do it. And until and unless you have the understanding of English language, you have the comprehensibility, whether you are able to comprehend, understand the main idea, understand the points that are presented, you will not be able to tackle with it. And that comes with practice. You have to practice. What is the child's name, Naina?
Prasham.
Prashab?
Prasham.
Prashab, okay. So Prashab, you have to practice a lot. Practice, and practice more. That is the only way to gain confidence with RC, right? Yeah, next.
Yeah, so we only have. Okay. And just my question. So how many times we should give GRE? Like, if will there
Depends
be any?
entirely on the requirement of the university. What are they asking for? What is the score that I'm getting? You know, so if I'm not meeting the eligibility requirement of the university, I will have to reappear for. But
Will
then
there-
if I reappear, I have the option of combining the best of my scores and giving those scores also, right? So we should try and concentrate on performing good, and then if we are still not meeting the eligibility, combining those scores, because ETS offers that facility, combining those scores and sharing with the university. Well, we would say you give it as many times as you want, but we should always try and make sure that we are potent with first, maximum by second time.
So will that give a negative impression if
No,
they?
not at all. Frankly, I'll tell you, Naina, I want to share something with you. Each time, when, the first time I gave a presentation, I was a little nervous about it. The second time I gave it, I was confident. So every time we are making a change, we are making a difference in our performance, it is only reflecting in a good manner, in a positive manner. And that is how universities read it. That is how they understand it. Right?
Prasham has written, I have my GRE in 12 days. How should I prepare AWA as I don't have much experience in writing? And how should we focus on gathering more points?
You should be focusing on writing good. First of all, you should be creating an impact with what you are writing. For that, you will have to have logical pattern of organization. You will have to have logical progression of ideas. When you are writing an essay, you have to have a mind which can process information in the right manner and then write effectively. The only way is practice. You just have 12 days, you're saying, and you're not feeling confident about it. I tell you, you pick up your keyboard, pick up your PC, and start working on it right away. Start writing under timed condition, of course.
And now, ma'am, one more question. Is it necessary to give subject test? Will it enhance the whole profile?
It depends entirely on your requirement. What kind of post grad course you are looking for, what kind of career you are working towards. So if you are going to major in English and you want to work only towards that, yes, taking a subject test would be advisable. But if that is not your line, that is not your career path, then that will not be beneficial. So you will have to, that choice is something that you have to make, frankly. Yeah.
So I think that is it, ma'am.
Okay.
Shall we wrap up?
Yeah, sure, Naina. Thank you for all the
Thank you so much, ma'am.
time. And it's a pleasure connecting with you, Naina, and all these lovely people. I hope we connect again. Until then,
Of course.
take care. Take
Yeah,
care.
glad to hear you again, ma'am. And thank you so much for your time. As you mentioned that it was a hectic day, and still you spoke for all of us. And thank you.
It is always a joy to connect with the students, Naina. I love it. So it's never a trouble for me. Never.
So, thank you all the attendees. Please fill the feedback form. If we miss out on any of your queries, we can answer it afterwards. And we would like to connect with each and every student and solve their queries if they have anything regarding GRE or any query regarding the foreign education plans.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
And good
Naina. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
happy Sunday and good
You
night.
too. Good night. Bye-bye.